is good, ladies and gentlemen? Today I traded terribly, and I wanted to share it because hopefully this can be valuable for somebody, maybe myself if I would learn my own lessons, but if I can't do that, maybe somebody else can also do that. Today I overtraded way too much. I think it ended up being 4 trades, but again, probably 3 too many. So wanted to break down kind of what happened, what was happening emotionally, where I was mentally, just really everything. This was actually my first day trading my new funded account, so I think that probably, I guarantee that almost contributed to my emotional state. But either way, overtrading, revenge trading, however you want to say it, it was pretty much all jumbled up into the same thing. Today was Jolts. We had Jolts news today at 10, and I knew that going in, and I still decided to trade. So number one mistake, I really shouldn't be trading anywhere near news. I guess I can trade on news days. I just need to be clear that I shouldn't be trading in or around the Jolts news. I did it anyways. So that was my first mistake. My second mistake, and let me go zoom in on these first group of mistakes here. So our 9:30 candle, 10 o'clock was the Jolts news. So let's figure out where that was. Right here. This is Jolts news, but we'll go over that in just a second. 9:30 candle open. What I'm looking at here is I had this supply zone from a couple of days ago, back from the 29th of May, and I like this supply zone. It hadn't been tested. We have just been kind of hanging out underneath it. But this supply zone, I like how strong it was. I like the reaction off of it. I like how it kept dropping from it. That was on my chart today, but for some reason I didn't decide to trade it until the very end after I had already made all of my mistakes. So I had that on my to-do list essentially, but I didn't want to wait. And so I was trying to short prior to actually hitting that supply zone, which this morning was a part of my problem. So if we zoom in and look at the area that I was trying to short, this is my supply zone, and this is the 9:30 open candle here. So I tried to jump the gun. I was thinking, okay, have a strong candle. We immediately sold after it. I'm thinking, right off the bat, maybe we're early. Maybe this was a bigger supply zone than I thought. There's a bunch of things in my head, and big candles, of course, means you have to get into a contract. Of course, that's exactly how all this works. Big candles, you got to trade. And so I took a short position right here after we kind of had this like a little indecisive candle. This was also around the 20 SMA that I have here. Let me remove VWAP here. So this is the 20 SMA, and we had this indecisive candle around the 20 SMA, and I saw it starting to break pretty hard. So I entered a short contract basically off of momentum, really nothing more than just that break of that 20 SMA and momentum. But it was also, I'm looking at a bunch of the liquidity built up from overnight. Again, thinking it would have been a perfect place to turn around. And sure enough, I was wrong. I got stopped out fairly quickly, just off of normal volatility here. You can't see it, but there was a very, very tiny trade. And actually, if we go to the 15 second, I think you can see it. You can actually see the trade that I took. Yeah, there it is. This tiny little thing here. It got stopped out here pretty quickly. Didn't even bother doing anything. I impulsed into essentially the exact same trade afterwards. And again, this was like, hey, I got stopped out. I lost my first trade on my funded account, and I immediately revenge trade into essentially the exact same trade, thinking that somehow this was going to be different. Shows a little bit of my insanity there. But in terms of taking a slight break, I did mentally take a slight break because that was pretty exhausting. I'm also not trading on the 1 minute. I'm showing you just because there was 2 trades here. I'm showing you on the 1 minute. I was actually trading on the 5 minute, and this is roughly what it was look like on the 5 minute. I was looking at this candle here, I loved this 5-minute candle. Got messed around in here and just some stupid stuff. Really things that the reason I'm making this video is hopefully we can learn from it. I think it being the first day on my funded account after so long, I just hadn't really experienced significant emotions. I haven't really experienced any, I guess, real money feelings since I've had my last funded. But this is pretty insightful to see my reaction on and how many mistakes I made. Number one, being on a news day. Number two, just revenge trading after a loss. Still not happy. Again, my day turned out green. I ended up just south of $300 today. Not really happy. I've made my payouts. I'm glad I'm green. I'm not going to complain about being green, but I really I think long term, the objective is how can I start to minimize these mistakes? And hopefully by making this video, talking through it mentally again, experiencing again, having this video for me to review on my own, will say, hey, be careful of trading near news. Wait till it actually hits your zones. Don't revenge trade like I did. Absolutely crazy. Going on to the third trade. This is where we were approaching the supply zone. So this is where things got a little better, but not by much. So my third trade, I had entered, we hadn't actually hit the supply zone. And so we were just south of it here. But again, I was like, I'm just going to enter kind of like a limit. It was still a market trade, but I was thinking like, I'm going to enter here. I think this is a pretty big retracement on this move here. We had essentially retraced back into, I don't know what you want to call this, like a little mini supply zone here. So I was thinking like, maybe this is a good entry point. Not considering that I may or may not be right in the direction and that the supply zone really hasn't been confirmed other than this initial drop here, which I was sitting here waiting and I didn't pull the trigger on it. So I was watching this whole time thinking, okay, I'm going to wait till we get a retrace and we get a second test up here and then I'll enter short again. It wasn't great. Got stopped out by this wick here. I still felt super comfortable. The way this candle finished here, this was a pretty bearish candle. I liked this candle, made me feel good about it. It didn't finish above this high here, and I felt very comfortable. And what I was waiting for was, I'm 0 for 3 at this point. What I'm waiting for at this point, like, okay, I've been stopped out 3 times. I just feel like I'm on the wrong side of the market. They're clearly out to get me. So I said, what am I going to wait for? I said, I'm going to wait for the wick of this to get taken, because of course it is, right? Everybody has these experiences where every single trade you get in, some days just feels like you're getting wicked out every single time. So of course I said, I'm going to wait for this specific candle. And again, I'm still revenge trading here. I'm going into my 4th trade, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait for this wick right here to take out the top of the liquidity here. Of course it did. And when I saw the rejection here, I saw the nice wick and the candle started to get pretty heavy. I was like, okay, I like this. I'm going to enter short. I also, this was mistake number 3. So mistake number 1, news. Mistake number 2, revenge trading and over trading. And mistake number 3 was I sized up. So instead of the 3 previous trades were all single contracts. The first 2 trades were single contracts, and the last trade I sized up to 2 contracts. This is the trifecta, I think, of how you shouldn't trade, and the trifecta of some of the worst possible things that you could do on a funded account. So I hope this is a pretty valuable video for some people, because I'm 3 for 3 on the big 3 mistakes. I sized up after being down several $100,000, and this was interesting. I stayed in this trade. I put my stop above these 2 wicks here and above this one, and I said, it is what it is. My target, which was hilarious, I literally just put my target to a point where I would make all of my winnings back, and then I would still make a little bit extra. And I said, it is what it is. I'm just going to let this trade run, and I'm going to see what happens. Sure enough, I had to walk away from my computer. I had to deal with something that my daughter was dealing with, and I came back, and I had been wicked out for a win. So, no, there was no good trading that happened today. None. Not like, yes, I made about $290 on a funded account today, but no, there was not any good trading. None. So this is definitely a video for reflection. This is a video for reminding myself, since I've been gone for so long, 6 months since I've been trading, or 5 to 6 months since I've been trading seriously, that these are the kind of issues that you deal with, that everybody deals with, and that if I don't re-tighten back up, if I reorient myself mentally and emotionally, that I'm going to get steamrolled. And I lucked out today. I lucked out to be green, but today has to be a learning lesson if I'm going to continue to develop, if I'm going to continue to make money and get more payouts. Today's like today have to be learning lessons, and that's why I'm making this video. I'm hoping that I can reinforce a little bit of remembering and getting, I guess, underneath the whys, right? Why did I feel like I couldn't handle a loss? You know, after my first or second loss, it was not irredeemable. I think I was down maybe $400. That's not, I can come back from that. There's no reason I can't come back from that. So at what point did I feel like I couldn't recover after the first 2 trades? Why did I feel the need to be right, that I needed to make that money back? Why did I feel the need to do it all in one day? And why did I feel the need to trade on news day? Probably the final question is, why did I feel the need to, or why was I not patient enough to trade when we got to my supply zone? Because I felt very, very comfortable about my supply zone. Yes, it didn't play out, of course, but I wasn't really going for huge plays here. I think this could have worked. This did work, obviously, but again, this isn't going to, and I can take a loss if I were to stay in the supply zone and trade my shorts out of supply, and that's my strategy, then great. I'll take a loss if it's necessary. If I do everything right, that's a part of the game. Got to be able to take the losses. But trading down here, thinking that it's going to react in a similar fashion up here in this supply zone, it's crazy. So a lot of things to learn and reflect on, and hopefully this could be helpful for other people. But I'm alive. Didn't blow my account like an idiot. And I'm going to move on to the next day and hopefully be better tomorrow. So that's all I got for you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.